will continue in our study of Hebrew, the origin of Hebrew words, and we're going to continue with words that start with the letter Aleph. Of course, the word Aleph, or the letter, occurs in Hebrew. It doesn't occur in the original Hebrew because the alphabet is not part of the original language. The alphabet is a later creation. But we're going to go by the order of the vocabulary words in Hebrew, and we're going to see the origin of those words. So we're basically going to go in order of the Hebrew alphabet. And it's my position, as I showed in the earlier parts of this series, that Akkadian is the origin of Hebrew. And so we're going to be looking at the Hebrew words and where they are found in Akkadian. And we're going to see the same words occur. So with that said, let's get started. The main word that we covered, let's briefly recap what we covered in part 1. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. So this is the book we were reading from last time, one of the books we were reading from, the Akkadian Lexical Companion for Biblical Hebrew, an etymological, semantic, and idiomatic equivalence with supplement on Biblical Aramaic. It basically lists Hebrew words and highlights the same in the Akkadian language. It's a comparison of the two. So what we covered last time is, hold on a second. We covered the word for father. That was one of the main ones we covered. That was probably the biggest, most important word we covered last time in part 1. So we covered father and showed the Akkadian, that same word in Akkadian is ab. And then we did abad, which means to destroy or to cause to be lost. So that same word occurs in Akkadian with same meaning. And we covered the word for read, abba, same word occurs in Akkadian. We covered abbas or abus, which occurs in Akkadian as well. It means a storehouse. Aber or abir, it means strong. Same word occurs in Akkadian. So we covered that last time. Abal, it means in Hebrew, it primarily means to mourn, but occasionally it means to dry. And we showed how in Akkadian, the original meaning is dry. It did not actually mean to weep or mourn. That's a later definition. But the origin of why it would be weep for this word, we discussed how it probably means to droop down. So like a plant droops because it's dried up, but also water droops from your eyes when you're crying or mourning. So that's probably where the meaning originated from for mourn. But the original sense of it is to dry. So that we covered that last time. And we're going to start off with Abba, stone. But before we go to that, I'm just gonna also recap with you guys another resource we were looking at was the Comprehensive Etymological Dictionary of the Hebrew Language. So for this book, we actually looked at some more words. It's an etymological dictionary of the Hebrew language. And so I have it really zoomed in so that you guys can see the vocabulary words, because they have it in very small print. So let me just briefly recap with you guys what we kind of went through last time for these. So we showed some additional words here. I'm going to zoom out for now. Hold on a sec, guys. There's a lot of prior pages here, but all right, here it is. So we talked about the letter Aleph as its own stance, and then Aleph as a prefix and a suffix we talked about. Av for the month name of the Jewish calendar. Same name occurs in Akkadian. We talked about the meaning of the word. It also spelled the same as father, but it means something different. It comes from a different root word, and that root word is the Akkadian word. It's spelled in Akkadian INB instead of AB, but it means to sprout or shoot or spring up. And we showed also sometimes the same word in same words in the different Semitic languages like Arabic, Ethiopians. We talked about that. And there's some loan words from like Greek or Latin that we mentioned. So here's abad, which is to perish or to be lost, to destroy. And it has a lot of these same words. So Abaddon, which is the ultimate destruction or total destruction. And we did Abba, which means to want or be willing for something. Same word occurs in Akkadian. Talk about some instruments. Let's see here. Here's one. I don't know if we this one. This one apparently is from Akkadian, and it's a ball. It means a city gate. An entrance gate of a building. Let's see here. Just kind of skimming through this to see if there was anything important that we discussed last time. Not so much. So we're going to pretty much get started with Eben. Oh yeah, Ebion, which is also related to where the Ebionites come from. The word Ebionite comes from the Hebrew word Ebion, which is here. And that basically means total wanting, being in lack of things. You're so poor that you have nothing and you're in total want. Yeah, so here's a ball, which is mourning, straw, beer. So these are all the same words. Abak, for the dust to raise clouds of dust. Here we have the abak, which means bring or to turn. So they say it's probably related to epoch with a hay. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. So Eban is now where we're going to continue from. So first, we will take a look at the Blue Letter Bible entry. Okay, so entry from Blue Letter Bible. And I highly recommend Blue Letter Bible for those who want to just search things on their own and want an easy resource that isn't too difficult to understand. Now, it's not 100% accurate necessarily, but it does a good job of giving you a general overview and insight into the language issues. So it has it has the entries. So it shows you how it's used in the Bible, how it's translated. It means basically just means a stone, but we can see. So it occurs 273 times in 239 verses in the Old Testament, and at each time it's essentially translated as just stone. According to scholars, the root origin of this word is the verb bana or ban, which means to build. To build or construct something. This word is also used to mean a son. Like someone is the son of someone else, they are a ben of someone else. So a ben is a building or construction. So a parent has a son or a daughter, which is a bana or banat, and that is a daughter. And what it's actually literally saying is they are their construction. Their child is what they have built up from their the man built up his son from his seed, and the woman built up her son from her womb, from her egg. So the son is or daughter is said to be built by the parent or constructed, and so that's why they call them ben or banat. In Hebrew, instead of banat, it's pronounced bat. You might hear, the name Bathsheba that David took as his wife. That actually means daughter of Shiva or daughter of Sheba. The word bat actually comes from this root, bana, and it means to build. So the word for stone actually comes from the word to build. And the reason for that is because stones are used as objects to build things. For example, houses were built from stones in the past. So this root word is ben, and Aleph is a prefix. So the way Hebrew works, by the way, is it does things similar to the way it works in English, where in English we might have something like, let me give you some examples. You might have let's see. Let me think of a good word. Well, you could say, okay, the word for, F-O-R. So you have forsake, and you have forget. You forgot something. So forsake, forgot, forbear. I'm just trying to think of things at the top of my head. There's forlorn. Let me see for a second, just to give you guys an example. Words that start with for. Let's see. Hold on a second, because this will kind of help illustrate the principle I'm mentioning. Okay, so here's this isn't intended to be exhaustive, but this is just an example to illustrate the point. So we have here, oh wow, there's a lot more than I thought. Okay, so there's 176 pages that are linked in this for Wiktionary. So let's just only looking at a few of them. There's like I said, forbear, forbid, a lot of these I've not even heard of before. Forebode, forecast. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of these are not commonly used, but forgive. I can't believe I forgot forgive. So forgive is one. Forgo. Let's see if there's any other interesting ones that we know of. Foresee. Let's see. But you can see there's a lot of them. And basically, that's how it works. They add for at the beginning of a word, and it changes the meaning. And so the same thing happens in Hebrew, where you can add letters at the beginning of Hebrew words, and it changes the meaning. So you can add Aleph to the beginning of a word, and it gives it a altered meaning. So that's why you take the word for build, and you add Aleph to the beginning, and it makes it into stone. The Aleph at the beginning, I would say, means something like object of. But so that's just an illustration of how the principle works. So with that said, let's now go to this word in the Comprehensive Etymological Dictionary. So the word here, eban, stone, can mean weight, related to the Aramaic, has the Syriac, Ugaritic, Ethiopian, it all means the same thing. And also, it sometimes can mean to change into stone, to make something into a stone. Let's see now. And Aban in Arabic means sun. It's related to the Hebrew for just Ben. But okay, so with that said, now we are going to go to, I mean, there's a few others here, like stoniness, spelled a little bit differently, but having the same root word, aben. But let's go and look at Wiktionary, the Wiktionary page for this word. Okay. The Wiktionary page is right here. So it even shows it in Arabic. Like we said, that's how it's spelling of sun in Arabic. But for Hebrew, it comes from the Proto-Semitic eben. So let's take a look at Proto-Semitic eben. It's going to show us the different forms. So you have Ethiopian Semitic. So Ge'ez is eben, right here. Then you have Old South Arabian, eben. Oh, by the way, in Tigrinya, the B changes to an M. That's going to be important because we're going to see sometimes some Akkadian words, instead of a B or a P, it'll have an M instead. So, so the Hebrew, that's how it's spelled in the Bible, but in Paleo-Hebrew letters, that's what it's like right here. That's how you would spell it in Paleo-Hebrew letters. So Phoenician and Punic dialects of Hebrew, that's how they spell it. They spell it the same exact way with just different script. This is a different script, Paleo-Hebrew, but it's the same letters. Ugaritic, same letters, different script. They used they had like the oldest alphabet that we know of, but their alphabet, Ugaritic, was a cuneiform alphabet with lines. Mainly, they look like arrows. So that's what this word right here, how that was written, same exact letters. So this first letter is Aleph. This second letter is Ben, and this third letter is Nun. I believe Ugaritic is written left to right instead of, in Hebrew, it's normally right to left. Akkadian is also written left to right. So Aramaic, Ebna. So same exact word, just has a prefix at the, a suffix at the end, Aleph suffix. Syriac, it writes it the same way, letters, but different script. Again, it's a different script. Just like you had Paleo-Hebrew, different script, but same exact letters. Here we have these same letters, but it's written with these different script of the same letters. So this is called the Estrangalo script, I believe it's called. And so Syriac is a dialect of Aramaic. So that's why it's literally the exact same word. Aleph, Bet, Nun, Aleph. Then we go up here, and here's Akkadian. That's Abnum. So we're going to take a look at this word, Abnum, and we're going to see how it is used in Akkadian. So there's two ways to spell this word in Akkadian. You can spell it this way or this way. This is the logogram way of spelling it, and this is the phonetic way of spelling it. So this word right here is ab. The second word in Akkadian is nu, and this ending letter is Now the is a case ending in Akkadian. So the actual two words in Akkadian that correspond to the word is the first word, ab, and the second word, nu. So we'll take a look at those in a second. But so this word right here, let's take a look at that. So this word in it's actually composed of two different roots, it looks like. No, wait, let's see. Yeah, it looks like it, but so the Sumerian, it's orthographic borrowing from Sumerian na. The word is na in Sumerian, and that means stone. So let's take a look here. So na means stone. It can mean gem, but it basically just means stone, or it could be boulder. And Sumerian terms spelled with that. Let's see. Doesn't look like it has a lot here. Okay, there's two examples. I'm not sure how relevant that is. Let's see. I think they're just types of stones. So let me go back. So this word has the meaning of na in Sumerian, but in Akkadian, it could also be used to have the sound of na. So whenever you're using it as a sound pronunciation in Akkadian, you could choose to use this word or letter to have the na sound in Akkadian. And let's see here. But it also can sometimes, when you write it in Akkadian, it can literally be pronounced as abun, or the word for stone, the Akkadian word for stone, abun. So that's that way of spelling it. But the other way of spelling it, the phonetic way of spelling it. So the first one is ab. So let's take a look at ab. So the first word / letter, because words and letters are the same in Akkadian, essentially. So So the first word here is ab. It means see. It can also mean a hole or a window. It's an opening. And the same word can also be esh, meaning a shrine or sanctuary. So then we see in Akkadian, what can it mean in Akkadian? So Akkadian, it can have the sound of ab, but it can also mean the Akkadian word tiamat. Tiamat means like the abyss or sea or lake. So then it can also mean a window, which is apet. Akkadian word for window is apet. So you can spell apet with the word ab, the Sumerian word ab, but you would pronounce it as aput or aptum. You wouldn't pronounce it as ab, you would pronounce it as aput. And again, depending on context, you would pronounce this word instead of ab, you would pronounce it as tiam or tiamat or tiamatum. And the phonetic value is ab or ap. So it can have that sound of ab in syllables, but it can also have the sound of the word tiamat and the Akkadian word apat. So that's the first word right there of the second spelling. Oops, 1 second. Hold on. Okay, and the second word, I gotta copy it. The second word, we just backspace it. So we'll take a look first at the Sumerian. So what does the word mean in Sumerian? So that word can mean no, or not or no. And interestingly, that word no in Sumerian is new. It's kind of cool how, like, in a lot of different languages, the word for no is very similar. So it can mean no or not. Okay. And as a verb, to not be something. So now we'll take a look at Akkadian. So Akkadian has the sound of new. So if you have a word that's new, the sound that has the words, the sound new in it in Akkadian, or, Akkadian again is the oldest form of Hebrew. So if you have a Hebrew word with new in it, you could use this word to spell it in Akkadian. So there's 2 words in Akkadian for not, and these 2 words are also in Hebrew. The word is la and ul. In Hebrew, lamed aleph and aleph lamed both can mean no or not. So this word, Sumerian word new, can be pronounced as new in Akkadian, but it can also be pronounced as la and can be pronounced as ul. And the meaning, when it's pronounced as la or ul, it means not. But if it's used as the sound new, then it just means the sound new in the Akkadian word. So with that said, that's the 2 ways of spelling ben in Akkadian. So quite different way of spelling it. So now let's see what we have next. We're going to go back to Blue Letter Bible and see the next word is in the list. in the Strong's list, the Strong's concordance. So this, I believe, is the Aramaic version of it. Yeah, so it's the Aramaic, same exact word, eben, and they have a Strong's number that's separate for some reason. So now we go to the next word. Again, eben, let's see what that means. Okay, it could mean a wheel or a disc, but it actually is the same exact word for stone. So the scribes decided to change the vowel marks when they want to make it to mean a wheel, but it actually just says a stone. By context, it's a stone wheel, but it's still, so it's a pair of stones, a potter's wheel or a midwife's stool, and it's made of stones, so it's actually just stones. But it's explaining to us, that it can be used in the sense of meaning wheel. So that's all it's saying. But let's see what we got here. All right, well, before I move on, I forgot to actually, we have to look in the Akkadian book right here. So let's zoom in for you guys. So here we have Akkadian Abenu or Aben, and again, it just means stone. So it tells us that it occurs in the oldest form of Akkadian. So Old Akkadian and onward, that word occurs. So in the Old Testament, we see the phrase Hemtar Abin Barak, it looks like. So this is rain. A stone will rain down. Let's see. And then Akkadian, okay, they translate this right here. Let me look at Isaiah 30:30. So Isaiah 30:30 says in the translation, hold on a second. The weird thing is, what they're saying is the word here is not the word used in the verse that I looked it up. Let me check something. Yeah, that's very strange. So I'm going to highlight to you guys. So see this word right here? It says rain down. It has mem, ta, tet, and resh. Then it has aben and barak. But though only this word and this word is in Isaiah 30:30. This word is not there, even though they say it's Isaiah 30:30, but that word's not there. So I'll show you guys just so you can see it's not there for some reason. So you see it's not here. And then you have Aban and Barak, but there's no what was the word again? It was matar. There's no matar, which means to rain down. So that's a little bit weird that we don't see that there. I don't know if that's a variant or if that was just a mistake made by the book author. But so let me go back. So in Akkadian, you have Ebenum, Ravitum, Izanun. You know what it is? I think they typed the wrong word because actually I don't know, but so this word means stone, Ebon, and Rabbit means large. That actually same Hebrew word occurs in the Bible for large. It's Rab or Rav. So we have I have rained on them. That's another Akkadian phrase. Let's go down to the next section. Okay, then we have wood and stone. So you have etz wa aben. And in Akkadian you have etsu u abenu. So it's the same exact thing. It's the same phrase and it means the same thing. So precious stone, aben ikra. And in Akkadian, abnu akar tu. So it has that same word. It means precious stone in both languages. Heavy stones. So this word can be used to mean the glory of something, but it actually literally means like heavy, something heavy or weighty. So something with weighty, it's a kabod. You might hear it in Hebrew, they might say kabod, but kabod or kabid, abim. The Akkadian is abnu kabtutu. And it's the same exact, the kabad right here is kabat or kabt right here. So it means the same thing, heavy stone. So here we have stones of Kish, or not Kish, Kiss, or Kis, referring to a pouch of stone weights. So the same phrase occurs in Akkadian, Aban Kisi. The E is just a case ending. So firestones, stones of fire, Abni Ash or Ash. Akkadian, Aban Ishati. So it's the same words used. Choicest stone, Aban Hen. Now, hen often can mean grace, I'm pretty sure. But so literally stone of choice or choice stone, Aban Han. And here in Akkadian, you have Aban Nisikti. So in this case, this word is not the same as this word, but it means essentially the same thing. It means choice stone. So here we have, they say in Proverbs, we have Luit Han. They say perhaps it should be, the original text should be Luit Avni Han. They argue that could be the correct original meaning. They're not saying that's definitely the case, but they're giving a possibility. And the Akkadian, you have Agu Shah Abne Nisikti. So then we have big stone. So this is another word that in Hebrew means big. It's Gadal. So Aban Gadala, right here. And Akkadian has Abnu Rabitu. So it looks like what they're saying is this word might not be used the same in Akkadian, but Akkadian uses a similar word Rab, which also means large. or great. Let's see. Mighty stones. Abnim Gidalot. And we have mighty stones were ordered by the king to be quarried to lay the foundation of the temple. So that's this one right here, where it's stones of mightiness, Gadalot. Okay, stone wall. We have Hamat Abanim. So Hamat is wall of stones. No, excuse me. Hamat is wall. Abanim is stones. So Hamat Abanim is wall of stones. Akkadian, instead of Hamat for wall, it used the word Dur for wall, but it's Dur Abani. So it has the same meaning, wall of stones. And we have here a stone stela in Genesis. It's Mitzabat Aben. In Akkadian, it's Naru Shah Abni, which also means stele of stone. Salam Abni means, let's see, statue of stone. Okay, sling stones. In Zechariah, it says it in Job and Chronicles as well. The phrase is Abni Kyala. And in Akkadian, you have Aban Waspim. So again, it's a different word, but it has the same meaning, same phrase meaning. Throw a stone. There's two ways to say it in Hebrew. You could say it as Esalik and Yada. The word Yada is the same word for the word for hand. It's from the same root. It means to stretch out or reach out. In the context of a verb, it means to throw with your hand, essentially. To throw it out. Your hand is thrown out when you're grabbing something, and when you're throwing something, you throw it. So it's the same word. The Akkadian has Abna Nadu. So in Akkadian, instead of Yod, it has a Nun instead. But otherwise, it's the same root, same meaning. Strike with a stone, we have Eka Ba Ben. So strike with a stone in Akkadian, Abna Mahasu. So this would be to strike. Okay, laying foundations. So you have either Isad or Yasad or Isad, and then you also have Yara. So Yara is a similar word to Torah, if I understand correctly. And so or who cast the stone of, they translate it as cornerstone, but the phrase is stone of Panata or Panta. Let's see here. So Akkadian Avenue is attested in both the masculine and feminine. In Hebrew, I believe it's only masculine. In the vast majority of texts, the plural is written with the Sumerian logogram na, mes, and therefore, unless na mes is followed by an adjectival form, which would indicate the gender, it is unclear whether the scribe, had he not used the Sumerian logogram, would have employed the masculine or feminine plural. They have chosen the masculine plural, but they don't know for sure if that's how they used it. So yeah, there's a letter in Akkadian, mesh, which can mean it's from Sumerian, and it means its own word in Sumerian, but it can also mean the plural in Akkadian. So let me see if we can look that word up. Let's see if we can look that word up. One second here. Not sure. If this is it or not, but I'll have to look that one up for a miss. But with that said, let's move on to the next section. One second. All right, so now sharing again, Blue Letter Bible. So here we have Abna, which is a river in Syria going through Damascus. The river is simply called Abna, and it's in 2 Kings. Then we have Ebon Ha'ezer, stone of the help, or helping stone. So that was, as it was erected by Samuel to mark where God helped Israel to defeat the Philistines. So it's often you're going to see it pronounced as Ebenezer. This is Abnat, and that is unclear where that word comes from. It might not even be a Hebrew origin word. It says it might be of Persian origin, it looks like. It means girdle or waistband. So the Jews were under Persian authority after the Babylonian exile, so they probably took some of their Persian words during that time and then added them into prior scriptures. That just means my father is a lamp. Let's see. Abbas. We looked at that one last time. It's a verb meaning to feed or fatten. Okay, Abba or Bahat, however you say that. So that means an inflammatory pustule. It's an eruption of some kind. It's like a boil. And so this is used in the Exodus account when there's a boil as part of the plagues upon man and beast throughout all the land of Egypt. So now we're going to see that same word in the Akkadian. So here we have the Akkadian there's no Aleph. Instead, it's just bubutu. That means boil. So this is called a hapax because it only occurs like a couple times in the Bible, and it's by the context of the Bible, it's not clear what it means. So you have to look outside the Bible to try to understand what this word means. So it's clear, though, outside the Bible, we have enough evidence that it means a boil. So in Akkadian, red boils. Let's see. It says the Akkadian variant may reflect the spelling with two ions in the Hebrew word. It says it probably is connected with the Hebrew word and the Akkadian word ebu, meaning to be thick. Note also that the equation with Akkadian ibi2 might reflect the prosthetic Aleph in the Hebrew. The prosthetic is the prefix Aleph added. So wing comes next, but before we go to that, let's see what we have in the comprehensive etymological dictionary. So here we have for ebonim, that can be used to mean the potter's wheel, like we talked about, but it actually just means stones. Okay. So here, look, this Hebrew word's a modern Hebrew word. It's absolute. So it comes from the Latin absolutus, and that's a loan word. That's not part of the original Hebrew language. Absolutism, again, it's a modern Hebrew word. Absurd, they literally are spelling it. This is Aleph is an A, Bet is a B, Samach is an S, Wa is a U, often in Hebrew, Resh is a R, and Dalet is a D. So they're literally spelling it as absurd, the same exact way. So that's again a loan word. We have it again down here. Absurdute, again, loan word. Abstract, loan word. So modern Hebrew has a lot of loans from other languages, just like English has loans from other languages. So here we have the boils or blister. So it's the same exact thing we have going on. Aorta. Let's see. Aorta is father of artery. Interesting. Or the origin of artery. Abaya, to search or inquire. Formed from Aramaic word. Okay, so that's a later Hebrew word. Abak, embrace or wrestle. So Aramaic has a similar word. It says probably related to the Hebrew word habak. Let's see. So it says some scholars believe that abak, used in later Hebrew to mean wrestle or embrace, originally comes from abak, which means dust, so that the original meaning would have been he got dusty, by implication, through wrestling. For sense development, refer to the Greek word koniestai, to cover oneself with dust, said of wrestlers. Whence the secondary meaning to prepare for combat, from konos, dust. So they're saying the Greek has a similar thing, so that could be what the origin of the Hebrew word is. Let's see. Yeah, so we just covered this dust. Well, here's another one. Abak is to run. Is that Okay, he ran away. Arabic is probably related to the Arabic abaka, he ran away. So he raised dust, he powdered, he dusted, he was covered with dust. So it's directly related to the word for dust. Powder or spice, pollen, basically comes from the meaning of dust. Because if you think about it, like it's like instead of dust, it might be more like powder, and dust is a form of powder. So like spice is in a powder form, pollen is like in a powder form. So we have, let's see, a bar, which is a wing. Okay, so let's stop there for a second. So we're on the same page as wing now. So let me look up 1 second here. We're probably only going to go to 5 today. So that's one more hour we're going to do, because I have some things I got to do, and I'm going to hang out with my family later. So, but let's look up this word. I was looking up the word for boil on Wiktionary, but it doesn't really give us any helpful information there. Yeah, it doesn't really give us that information there. So let's go to Blue Letter Bible. Have abaj, arbets or abaj, and they say supposedly it means to gleam. It's a city in the tribe of Issachar, so it's the name of a city. And we have Ibzan, so it's a name of a man, a Bethlehemite judge in the time of the judges. Abak, a primitive root, probably to float away as vapor, but used only as the nominative from abak, H80. So to wrestle, grapple, bedust. So let's take a look. That's what we were just discussing. Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled the man with him until the breaking of the day. So, and then the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. So we actually look at the Hebrew there, and it's using that word for the dust. Jacob was left alone. Jacob was left alone. The literal meaning, actually, though, is something like it kind of means by himself. Jacob was left by himself, because I don't know the best way to translate it is, because this word is like loneliness or solitude, by singleness, and then it's of him or his. This ending means his or him. So we have Jacob was left alone of him, or something like that. I don't know the best. I'll have to try to figure out the best way to translate that. But anyway, so, and he dusted, a man dusted with him. So the word comes from dust, but it means to wrestle. So it also could be used in the sense of pulverize. You know how it said to pulverize means to make into dust. Well, someone can be said to pulverize someone else. It means to defeat them, right? So that could be where that comes from. But now let's go to the next word. Dust. It can be used to refer to clouds, apparently. Clouds under Yahweh's feet in Nahum. Let's take a look at that one. The clouds are the dust of his feet. So he walks in the clouds. Interesting. By the way, we were talking about in the series about Baal, or about Yahweh and connection with pagan gods and stuff. This verse right here actually literally says, so it says God is jealous and he avenges. Yahweh avenges. Yahweh avenges, and he is a Baal of fury, or a Baal of wrath. It means a lord of anger or fury. So we use the word Baal there. But interestingly, Baal was considered, he was called in the Canaanite writings, rider of the clouds. And in the very next verse, after it says Yahweh is a Baal of wrath, or a Baal of fury, it then goes on to say that the clouds are the dust of his feet. So he rides on the clouds. Again, it's saying Yahweh is Baal. Interestingly there. But let me go back here. Okay. Well, let's see how they translate it. If there's dust and powder. One time the powder. So where do they translate it as powder? The Lord shall make the rain of thy land powder and dust. Okay, there's two words. And they can't both be translated as dust. So obviously there has to be a difference in translation or a difference in meaning. So that word also means dust. Eper or efer. Let me pull that up. Effort. Earth, dust, powder, ashes. So this one seems to more literally mean dust, whereas the other word seems to mean more like powder. It could mean multiple things. Dust and ashes, dust of the earth. So like this word seems to literally mean dust, whereas the other one seems to mean more like powder. So I would argue that you treat it 5 times as dust and 1 time as powder. Instead, it might be more accurate to translate it every time as powder. So you might have, it should become powder, small powder in all the lands of Egypt. And then, so their roots shall be rottenness and their blossoms shall go up as powder. And the multitude of thy strangers shall be like small powder. By reason of the abundance of his horses, their powder shall cover thee. All right, and then when it says small dust, I want to see if it actually says small or if they're translating it small. Nope. Where am I? Okay, yep, it does say small. Okay, that's good. Because we ideally they will actually be translating words and not adding words. Where's this next? Abaca, it's aromatic powder. So in Song of Solomon, with all powders of the merchant. Ebar, okay, fly, and it's related to, that word wing. So obviously you fly with your wings. So this word can be used as a verb to mean to fly. It can also be the word wing itself. So, yeah, see, wing. And let's keep going for a second here. Abra, and again, it means wing, but it's a feminine form. I'm just looking at all the different cases we have. Okay, and then it goes in. Let's back up into the first instance where it means fly. They just translate. It only occurs one time in the Bible, Old Testament, and they translate it as fly. Okay. Next, we have it occurs. Really give a list of the different translations, so I'll probably just translate it almost entirely as just wing. But let's take a look here. It had wings like a dove, wings as eagles, long-winged. Yeah, so they only translate it 3 times, or it's only found 3 times. Then abra with a feminine ending. Let's see how many times it occurs. Twice, 2 times as wings. So Job 39:13, or wings and feathers unto the ostrich. So obviously, it probably doesn't mean feathers because this verse right here has wings and feathers as 2 different words. But down here it has and her feathers with yellow gold. Probably says wings, but feathers is like part of the wing. Feathers are part of the wing. So he shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. Okay, so now it's using a different word for wings. So let's see what that word is. Okay. In his feathers, supposedly feathers, he shall cover you, and under kanaf, under his wings. So that word kanaf, let's take a look at that word. So this word actually might be more accurate to say the wing. So I probably would translate this primary word as wing. And then let's go back to the feather, the other one that where it said there was another word translated as feather. Hold on. Sorry. So wings and feathers of the ostrich. So let's take a look at that one. As if it's a different word. Wings. Wait, what's this? The wings. Oh, goodly wings under the peacocks. So it doesn't even say. So you see this word? They add and here, but it doesn't say that. It says like wing of feathers or something. Let me see 1 second. No, feathered wing or something. So this is not plural. this is singular and this is singular. So they're translating it as plural, but it is not actually plural. Let me see what it says here. Noun, common, feminine, singular, absolute. Noun, common, feminine, singular, absolute. So it probably would be wing plumage. Let me double check plumage to make sure that's the right word in English. Yeah, so plumage means a collection of feathers, but it's a singular word. It's a collective noun. So we're seeing something similar in the Hebrew, plumage. That's probably what we would have there. So let's see. All right. Whoops. No, I think I got it. Okay. So we'll stop there for now, and we'll switch over to, let's see here. I'm just going to look on Wiktionary for the word for dust to see if it says anything about the other languages. So it doesn't really have the etymology on Wiktionary. So we're going to have to, all right. So here we have Aramaic has abak, which means dust. Arabic also has abak, which means fleeing or evaporating. They say the latter may relate to habak, which means embracing, related to wrestling. So habak. Okay. So yeah, they don't really give too much of the etymology there. So now we're going to look at the etymological dictionary of Hebrew. So this means the pinions, or in post-biblical Hebrew, a limb or member or an organ. It says it's from the root to be strong. So the word wing actually comes from the root to be strong. And when you're flying, you're strong because you're lifting yourself up in the air, and that requires strength. Akkadian has the same word for wing, abaru. The Arabic has wabar, which means hair, but it could be related, like similar to feather. Let's see. So here we have to be strong, related to Akkadian abaru, to fly or soar. A hapex legomenon in the Bible means it occurs very rarely in the Bible. Only one time. But it's found in Akkadian. Oh wait, no, it doesn't say it's found in Akkadian. But it just says it means he spread his wings, flew, and soared. But it's related to strength, to be strong. And then post-biblical Hebrew, abar, together with the Aramaic and Syriac, means to lead, lead, it means lead, probably borrowed from Akkadian abar, name of a metal. possibly lead. Arabic abar, lead, is an Aramaic loanword. So here we have the same abra, which is a pinion or a wing. These are just words borrowed from other languages again. Abarak is okay. We'll go to that one after. But so now let's go to. We're gonna go to the abar in Wiktionary, and let's see what we see. It doesn't really show anything there. Let's see what we got. Yeah, so it's not showing much for etymology on Wiktionary. But now let's look at, we're going to look at the Akkadian dictionary PDF. So here we have Abar or Abra. Akkadian has Abaru. Here we see it occurs in Babylonian as well as Old Babylonian onward. And it means wing. Wing compared with pinion. So in the Bible, we see kanaf compared with abar. So the nashar, hanashar, the eagle, egadol or hagadol. And then it says gadol again. Gadol ha kenafim or kenapim. Arak ha ebar. So the translation would be essentially something like the great eagle is great of wings, long of wing or something like that. Long-winged or something. I don't know how you would translate it because it has to be translated differently than wing earlier here. Long feather or something like that. But so then it says we have here in the Hebrew, he will spread his wings and take him, bearing him upon his pinions. And pinion, again, let me just double check the meaning of that. Pinion is defined as let's see. It says it can be defined as a wing. So in Hebrew, there's often parallelism where two different words mean the same thing but are saying it in different words. So that's probably what's going on here. So we have bearing him upon his wings. So in Akkadian, we have kapu. So the Akkadian, it's the same exact word, but what's going on is the noon is being dropped. This occurs periodically in Hebrew and Akkadian words, where basically the noon will get dropped in certain words based on pronunciation. So in Hebrew, it does not get dropped because we pronounce it as kanap, 2 syllables, kanap. But in Akkadian, they combined it into a single syllable. So instead of saying kanap, they said kamp, kamp, like K-A-N-P, kamp. But when you say it like that, the N becomes almost silent. And so after generations of saying kamp, the N has stopped being pronounced, kamp. And so it becomes cap. So, but it's the same exact word, just the N got lost in Akkadian. So Hebrew actually preserves this word better than Akkadian does. Because again, the pronunciation, the noon got dropped in the Akkadian language, whereas Hebrew preserves the noon. Other times, Akkadian preserves the noon and Hebrew doesn't. So both have aspects that the other doesn't, that the original Hebrew has. So Hebrew and Akkadian are important together to establish the original Hebrew. So we have kapu, abaru, so the same pair occurs. Okay. Then we have the Hebrew sequence kanapim, abar, nutza, or nuja, wings, pinions, feather. The Akkadian has the same 3 pair. It has kampu, abaru, and then it has a different word for tail feathers, nubalu. Okay, so let's see. They say the next word here is abarak. So that is an Egyptian loan word, it looks like. But it's an Akkadian, early Akkadian onward. So it means steward. So Biblical Hebrew, it only occurs one time. It's in Genesis. So chief steward of the royal household. The etymology of the noun is still uncertain. It has been suggested that the word is the imperative of a verb, a Semitic loanword from Egyptian. Akkadian employs the feminine form abarakatu, as well as it's being a title for goddesses. So this word occurs only one time in the Bible, but it's a common word in Akkadian. So it shows that it's an ancient form of Hebrew. But it was lost in later Hebrew. No other text in the Bible used that word, only in Genesis and in Akkadian. So interesting. Let's take a look here. So we'll try to see how much we cover today. And that for people who come in and watch a little bit, they will watch the whole thing at a separate time when at their convenience. But so here we have Abraham, if that's the name. This is the Strong's number H85. So the next after that, okay, is the Egyptian word we were just talking. So they say, again, this just basically says the same thing. The scholars speculate that it comes from the Egyptian word. The Assyrian or Akkadian has the same word, what we just said. So yeah, same exact thing. It occurs just only the one time. The King James Version translates it as bow the knee, but that's the wrong translation. It should probably say steward or something like that. But perhaps I say it's the wrong translation, but perhaps they're right, and so there's different theories about what it means. So let's see what comes after. Abram, or can be pronounced also as Abram. That's the original name of Abraham. Abat actually comes from abot. The wa is removed, but it originally was part of the word, and it means water skins. or bottles. Oh, and it's, let me go back. So the place name, a boat. So it occurs 4 times, and they say the meaning probably means water skins. But so pitched in a boat, so it's in numbers. All right, I'm still here. My computer's going slow. I think it's the browser. So Blue Letter Bible is finished with the abs, the words that start with. So let's take a look at the Comprehensive Etymological Dictionary. I'm going to close out of this tab, see if that helps for now, and then I'll reopen it later. So we're going to look to see if the Comprehensive Etymological Dictionary has any more ab words. And then we're going to see if the Akkadian has any more ab words. So abrak. These are all loan words. Abracadabra. Okay, that's a modern Hebrew. This comes from the Greek word. Yeah, so a lot of these, this dictionary includes modern Hebrew words. It basically includes all Hebrew words. So, Abbasim, wild grapes, uncertain origin. It's perhaps a misspelled variant of the biblical Hebrew word basim, which means wild grapes. However, the Syriac spells it similarly as apesh instead of bash. So they say it makes it more probable that abashim derives from the base yabesh, which means to be dry, and it literally means the dry grapes. Okay, so then it goes into ag as well. So it looks like we're done with Aleph Bet words. So let's see. This actually might be a good place to stop, just because the reason being is it's at a good stopping point, because we're at the end of Aleph Bet. So I think in terms of a compact lesson, it's a good place to stop. It's already an hour and a half. So next week, we're going to continue with part 3. We're going to do ag words, Aleph Gimel words. And so the Aleph Gimel words, let's see. Let me just take a look at this for a second. It's actually not a lot of Aleph Gimel words. So that one will probably be quick, and we'll be able to do both Aleph Gimel and Aleph Dalet words next week. And yeah, there's a lot less of Aleph Dalet, Aleph Hey, Aleph. Yeah, so we're going to go through a lot more of these Aleph words, it looks like, next week. But this is a good stopping point for now, I think. And we shall continue. Hope you guys enjoyed the lesson. So just as a recap, what we covered today primarily, we covered the word for dust, abak. We didn't really see necessarily the Akkadian word there, but for the other forms of the Akkadian words, we saw the word for wing, we saw the word for stone. We went through stone. Let's see, what else did we cover today? Yeah, that's pretty much it. We covered stone. The big major ones are stone, dust, and wrestle. Wing. So hope you guys are enjoying this so far. It's gonna take a long time, but I hope this series is gonna bless you guys. It's probably gonna take a very long time because it's only every week we're doing some of the Hebrew. And to give you an idea, the Blue Letter Bible has Strong's numbers for each Hebrew word that they identify, and there's over 6,000 that they identify as Strong's Hebrew words, and we're only on like around 100. So it's going to take a long time. But if we go at the rate we're going, it's probably going to take a year around to get through the whole thing. But this might seem like a long time. At the same time, if we're serious about learning Hebrew or any language in general, how are you going to learn it in a short amount of time? You can't. It takes a long time to learn it. So my hope is that this series will help you. Every week you're gonna go into the Hebrew. You're gonna learn more Hebrew, but at a slow pace. We're not gonna go too super fast. We're gonna learn some Hebrew words every week. I want to try eventually to make a document file to have a neat and tidy list of Hebrew words we've gone through. I didn't get a chance to do that this week, but I'll try to do that this coming week. And that hopefully will be ready for next week, so then we can recap using that list I have. And then we will just keep going through, and this is going to help me with my Bible project, help me learn Hebrew better so I can translate the Bible better. And it's going to help you guys learn the original meanings of these Hebrew words so you can have a deeper and greater understanding of how the Hebrew language works, and to see the historical origin of Hebrew, because it's very fascinating information. So anyways, God bless you guys. Have a great week, and I'll see you next Sunday. Hope you guys come next week. Peace, guys.